Well, that's the Super Bowl matchup we wanted, right, Zach?
Yep, I am
Chiefs, Eagles.
pumped.
I mean, we can.
I'll be
I was
honest, it
thinking,
is by far the worst matchup for my own personal interest.
yes, yes, it is. Yeah, yeah. You got the Cowboys rival. You got the whole. I mean, everybody knows our hatred for the Chiefs already. So we're gonna cover, I guess, just a little bit about the Bengals, Chiefs, Eagles, 49ers. That was a beat down. But the main bulk of this episode is going to be our finally, and this is like our favorite thing, our top 10 at each
Baseball.
position in baseball, starting pitchers and relief pitchers today.
I would say
I'm
I think you probably like basketball more, like playing it.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you say you like baseball or basketball more?
Probably basketball.
Yeah.
Probably basketball, just because I connect with it more. Is baseball
Yeah.
your favorite
Oh yeah.
over football?
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Really?
I know way more about baseball than football.
Would you put like Major League Baseball over college football for you?
What do you mean? Like,
Like, take away the NFL, so just straight college football against the MLB. Which are you more interested in?
mm, like probably they're close. Like if I was to choose one team to cheer for out of all my teams, it'd probably be the Cardinals.
Over Clemson?
I've been a Cardinal fan since I was like 3 years old. I've been to
That's true.
the World Series games, seen them win a World Series.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true. That's true.
but Clemson, like, yeah, I went to Clemson for 4 years, and I love it. And I like
Yeah,
probably Clemson and Cardinals are probably the teams I know by far the most about.
for sure. For
But
sure. So yeah,
I
man, we got.
just always love
I'm
baseball.
I'm fired up for this list. I've been waiting to hear your list because I want to see where we're at comparing it. Because you see crazy lists like the Shredder on MLB Network. So I've seen a bunch of lists that have
Yeah, I'm
a lot
scared.
of. And like you mentioned, I think it was last episode, the disparity between like all these pitchers is like there's so many that
I
you
didn't
could.
realize so many guys had under 3 ERAs last year.
Yes. Yeah. There was a lot of guys with great years. And our list, I want to clarify. Our list is based on what we think in 2023 is going to happen. Not just so like there's a couple guys and we're not going to get into it yet, but they had like crazy 1 year last year that it's kind of look into the future. And then you got guys like Verlander and Scherzer, where you have to kind of balance their career
Hmm.
success based on as 40-year-olds what are they going to do next year. But we can get it started with our did you see it's. I have
Ooh,
two.
yeah.
They're kind of combined. We have two of the greatest ever to do it to retire. Tom Brady and Dexter Fowler, both retired. Both retired. So,
That's funny.
but yeah. Well, any thoughts on Tom Brady's retirement?
Uh, like it seemed due.
Hmm.
He's by far the best quarterback of all time,
Hmm.
whether you want to say it or not. I honestly, when he was with the Patriots, I didn't like him too much, but then when he got to the Bucks, I kind of liked him a little bit more.
I completely agree.
But
Yeah. Does it hit? Does he? I know we're not Tom Brady fans, but does it hit you at all that like a piece of your childhood is gone now with Tom Brady?
no, so part of my take tweeted out a picture, and it was like your childhood is over, and it's a picture of Eli Manning, Philip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and Tom Brady. Very true.
Very true.
They didn't put Tony Romo in there for some reason, so I don't know why they did that, but
So who do we got left from like our childhood? Rogers.
Rodgers.
That's
Uh,
all I can think of.
isn't there like another old dude?
Matt Ryan, maybe.
Matt Ryan, yeah.
That's
Uh,
it's a young quarterback league now.
I Russell Wilson's not really.
Yeah, he was more of like our seventh grade.
I remember him in like college when I was like, yeah, like middle school, high
Yeah,
schoolish.
yeah, yeah. I saw Tom Brady's video, and that made me a little sad because I know all the drama that he's dealt with off the
Yeah.
field. So I feel like there's been a lot he's been dealing with, and he didn't have a great year to finish off his career. But do you think he does that one day signing with the Patriots to go out as a
I
Patriot?
feel like you have to,
Yeah,
don't
I feel
you?
like it's the right thing to do.
But I will say you couldn't have gone out any way better. Losing to the Cowboys, America's
I
team.
thought about that. I thought about
I
that the
love all
other
the
day.
tweets where it says "Hang the banner." The Cowboys beat Brady in his last game, which hey, I'm
Let's
down for.
go. Yeah. What you got for us though?
Uh, I guess I'll do my Tom Brady kind of one.
Mm.
The last active professional athlete drafted by the Montreal Expos has officially retired.
Dude, I saw that. Yeah, that's crazy.
That was crazy. Tyler Huntley's in the Pro Bowl. That's sweet. Trevor Lawrence is in it. Deserved. Okay. I forgot to mention this one last time, but a guy on Clemson basketball, Brevin Galloway, he
Hmm.
posted this video and he's like, I went to lift weights, I came home, I took a nap, I woke up, my balls were exploded. And then he's like, I went to the doctor and they fixed me, and now my balls are all good. He's like, I guess my balls are trying to be like basketballs. And then he's like, go Tigers. Or he's like, I love Clemson. But men's underwear company signs NIL deal with Brevin Galloway. Uh,
Oh wow.
it's called Shinesty. Shinesty. Uh, yeah. So yeah, and it said the doctor said it was because he was wearing loose boxers. So Shinesty's, Shinesty. I don't know,
Yeah.
but that's pretty cool. Protect
Loose
the
boxers
jewels.
did it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Interesting. Huh. I would have thought the opposite. I would have thought something super tight.
Yeah.
Now we're having some ball talk on here.
Hey, that's what we do. We talk ball. It
There
could
you
be
go.
sports related or down under.
We didn't even we said some nice words for Brady. Any nice words for Dexter Fowler's retirement?
I will say I did like Dexter Fowler before his later
Personally.
years in St.
Yeah.
Louis, like when he was with the Rockies. But I always thought he was solid. His
He
first
was
year with us,
very
he wasn't that bad. It
no, there
was
was
actually
just
his
that
best year.
what was it, the last two maybe that he batted like 186
Yeah.
or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
him.
he was always friendly and personable
Yeah,
and always smiling, but oh,
not good.
I still recall it's the only time I've ever yelled at a game.
I know you always
Stood
talk
up and
about that.
yelled.
You're like the only
Yes.
time I ever yelled was.
He just walked to the ball in right field, and it was like a single that the guy was probably going to try to stretch it out to a double, and then it turned
Yeah.
to a triple, and he was actually rounding third, and I was like, "Yeah, that's the only time. That's the only time."
Well, hopefully, I think he'll be on TV somewhere. He's pretty
Yeah,
good in front of the
I could
camera.
definitely see that. And then back to Tom Brady. I know we're hopping around, but I know I saw a tweet or something where he's making more money over 10 years as the next 10 years as a announcer than he did his whole playing career,
That's
which is
crazy.
pretty amazing. What is he joining on TV? Is it
Have no idea
Fox or
yet. I don't know if he's accepted
announced it?
yet.
Gotcha.
No, what do you?
Well, we can kind of lower the mood here. You got some Eagles Chiefs in another week and a half, something like that here. Um, what are your thoughts about the Chiefs Bengals game?
Well, let's go chronological order first.
Okay,
The Philadelphia San Francisco game sucked because
that was awful.
Purdy hurt his UCL, and then couldn't throw, and then Josh Johnson got hurt, and then they put him back in, and he couldn't like throw, so then they just ran it. That was very boring.
That's
Uh,
rough.
but Philly, unfortunately, is pretty good.
Hmm.
Hurts, they really didn't have to play that great on offense because their defense was just dominating, and they were up by so much because the 49ers couldn't throw the ball.
Yeah.
So the 49ers are kind of just running out the clock for.
Do you know the Eagles? You, myself, a lot of people have said like the strength of schedule hasn't been there for them. That's
Mhm.
just a tough offensive line, tough defensive line, good cornerbacks, good up and rising quarterback,
Yeah, if you look at
good
their
weapons.
on paper, they're very good. They had
Very good.
their defensive line almost had, I think, the most sacks um as a group in NFL history this year. They had like
Wow.
almost like double the second place team or something. So
I don't know what their linebackers are like a whole lot, but I do know corners. What is it, Bradbury and Slay?
Yeah, Darius
Yeah,
Slay.
yeah, those guys are ridiculously good.
And then I'm assuming you
So
saw Trent Williams throw down Clemson
yes,
alumni Kayvon Wallace.
yes, I did see that. I did see
That was
that.
funny.
I think he was fed up a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
I would
that
be
you know,
too.
as a I'm not a Niners fan by any means, but that is a kind of a rough way to go out. You had all the momentum all year, and then Brock Purdy goes down, and who would have thought we'd be saying Brock Purdy goes down, your season's over because of it.
Yeah.
But he's got to be the starting quarterback next year, right?
No,
No? Ooh, okay.
I would probably take Jimmy. If I was them, because Aaron Rodgers is kind of uh come available, I would take Aaron Rodgers over Brock Purdy any day of
Yeah.
the week.
Oh, for sure. But you would still take Jimmy G over Brock next year to start the season?
They would take Trey Lance probably maybe over him just because of the
That's
potential.
true.
I don't know, and he's gonna be out for 6 months, so
I think
I think
Jimmy
it's
G's
just gonna be
gone.
a training camp battle.
It could be. Yeah. But with all, I mean, Brock Purdy showed he's not at least he's not a third string. He's at
Yeah,
least a solid
yeah.
backup. So you're not going to keep Jimmy G and Trey Lance. And Trey Lance is younger.
I
I
think
could
they'll
see them
get
moving
trade
Jimmy.
Jimmy G,
Hmm.
but heck, maybe they want 4 quarterbacks because every year they get hurt.
What about Jimmy G to Vegas? You see that happen at all?
I could. I just think Jimmy G's wherever he goes, they're gonna be solid, but he doesn't really, get you
Yeah,
excited.
for sure. And what about like Derek Carr to San Francisco, back in California, where he spent
That would
his
be bad.
Fresno
Yeah.
State's in California, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I believe so.
That'd be kind
So
of fun.
I don't know. I'm not a Derek Carr hater. I don't think he's elite, but I think he's definitely. I think he's better than Brock Purdy, Lance, and Jimmy G. That he could probably do much better with
Yeah.
that team.
But when you
That's
have
something to keep an eye on.
how good they run the ball, it'd be pretty nice.
I mean, Jets are going to be in for a quarterback.
Hmm.
I'm just off the top of my head. Jets, obviously,
Houston,
Texans. I think they'll
Carolina,
probably Carolina
uh,
too. You think Carolina and Houston will kind of base it off the draft though?
probably.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Um,
Um,
like Seattle's
I want
probably just gonna re-sign Gino.
Yeah, he'll be it next year. I don't think he's
Vegas,
the future for us in the Vegas. Um, I don't think Gino's the future. I think I love what Gino did this year, but I'm not like all in on him being the guy. He's also like 31, 32.
yeah.
So
The Bucks,
um,
they don't have anyone.
the Buccaneers, yeah, that's true. That's
The
very true.
Saints,
The Saints, yes.
kind
I
of
wonder if
low key the Titans a little bit. I don't know if they want to stick with the Tannehill.
mhm. Yeah, I think the Titans have more than a quarterback hole to fill. I
Hmm.
think Tampa would be interesting for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
I know that was the conversation a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, a
yeah.
little bit. That is interesting though. But yeah, the Eagles steamrolled the Niners
That
and are
game
looking
was
looking really good.
pathetic.
Looked good the week before against the Giants too. Um, but I mean, what are you thinking now about the Bengals Chiefs? What are your initial thoughts here?
My initial thoughts are on paper, the Eagles have better, they basically better everything besides quarterback and tight end, I would say. And
Yes.
maybe kicker. I don't know who Eagles kicker, maybe that's just a draw.
Mm.
But
But I mean, the
if you're a team and you have
quarterback,
Patrick Mahomes, you can win literally any game. It's like,
yeah, for sure. I don't think the now this might be a hot take. I don't think the quarterback and tight end duo of the Eagles is such a far drop off. I think the Chiefs
I
are
think it's a
better,
pretty far drop
obviously.
off.
You think it's far even with
I'm
Goddard?
still like Jalen Hurts throwing the ball, he can either be on or off.
That's true.
But
That's
Kelsey's
very
just so
true.
good at I think the gap's bigger for tight end than probably quarterback.
Yeah, I agree with that. I
But
agree.
I think a big thing to look for is the Kansas City receivers. A bunch of them got hurt at the end of the game. So,
Mm.
like, if you have your third string wide receivers now, your first string, that's going to be hard for to get Kelsey involved. Because if I was the Eagles, I would double team him and have if Marquez Valdez Scantling goes for 200 yards receiving and wins, then like they win the game because
Yeah.
of that. Like
Credit to you.
nothing you can
Yeah.
do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, we mentioned the corners for Philly. It's going to be tough on guys like Scantling and them guys to
Yeah, the Cowboys
explode
put
off
up
that.
40 on them, but we're built different.
You're built different.
Speaking of the Cowboys, they fired Kellen Moore. Interesting
Yeah, that
decision.
was interesting.
Yeah, we can talk about that another day.
Right.
But
I think the main issue, and a lot of people are not going to like that I'm going to say this. I think the main issue I had, and I
was the
have
referee.
with the refereeing. I can't stand people that can't win with class ever. Like they've never won with class. Like Kelsey, I know it's like a meme going around and people thought it was hilarious.
Yeah,
I thought it was just such a,
yeah.
excuse my language, douchebag
The
move. I just
Bengals
thought it
mayor
was
did he was bad.
yeah. Yeah, he was. He was for sure. But I mean, I just he said the first comment with it was funny because Mahomes said, I want to thank God first. And then he comes over and he's like, Burrowhead, uh, uh, expletives. And then he said the thing on the stage talking about jabroni or whatever,
Yeah,
which I guess I got everybody going. But as
yeah.
a not Chiefs fans looking in, and if I'm like a Philly fan, oh, that just or if I'm a Bengals fan, that just oh
I don't think Chiefs fans are. They're gonna. They're gonna have. I don't know. Philly fans are different. Like they're
they
crazy. There's a
oh that's
video of
crazy.
like a 10-year-old walking up to a 49ers fan, pretending to give him a high five, then he flips him off.
As much as you and I hate Philly fans, we give them their credit. They're
They're
passionate, that's for
crazy.
sure.
But
Yeah.
yeah, there were like bad calls. Like there was a block in the back on that late punt return. There's even a
Yes.
hole.
I thought I was the only one that saw that
I saw
because
that. I
I
was like
didn't.
block in the back because
Yes.
honestly every punt return, I just assumed there's gonna be something.
Mhm.
But it's kind of like
I thought,
a lot of times in late games, in really any sport, in basketball and football, the refs and they kind of let them play a little bit more because they don't want to
yeah.
make a call where it's not really there, I guess.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
But
they swallowed their whistle for sure at the end.
there was a
I
roughing the
thought
passer too that probably could have been on Burrow, but at the same time they didn't make as many plays. Like they had their chances,
are you
and it
talking
fell
about
down
the
to the
Chris?
Bengals. What their weaknesses been for the last couple of years is their line was just
Mm-hmm.
like three of their starters were hurt. So
Yes. Are you talking about the roughing the passer when Chris Jones hit him a little late?
I
It was
don't
back
remember
by
what
the
it
end
was. He
zone.
was in his end zone after he threw
Yeah.
it.
Yep. Yep. That's
It
what I was
was
picturing too. I thought
the way
that
they've
was
been
roughing the
calling it all
passer.
year, where you get sacked and they call roughing the passer.
Yes. Yes. I somebody told me this the other day, and I found this interesting. If the Chiefs would have gotten a first down on that 3rd and 9 in the fourth quarter, would
That
they
play
have
was
called that
weird.
play? Would they have called that play back if they got a first down on that?
I don't know. I feel like they should had to have.
You would think, but is that like
That was such a weird. And
mm,
then it was 3rd and 9 again, and then they got it, and then it was 3rd and 9 again when they came. It was so weird.
such a weird final few minutes?
Did
And
you?
then even
But
the
wait, no, continue.
well, I was gonna say even the um unnecessary roughness or whatever the penalty's called when he shoved Mahomes out of bounds.
That was a penalty.
It was.
That was that
I
was definition.
yes. When I saw it live, I thought I should say when I saw the replay, I agree. It was blatant. When I saw it live, I'm like, he just had like a foot and a half out of bounds and he's running full speed. Where's he supposed to go? I feel so bad for the
Oh yeah,
linebacker.
I feel so bad for him.
Uh, his teammate
Played
was
so
yelling
good.
at
He's
him.
like the young guy too.
Mhm. Yeah, it's just it disgusted me.
I
But
know. But did you?
they've been
But I think it happened because did you hear the news that the NFL's rigged? Arian Foster came out on a podcast saying
yes.
he got a script every single play. So
Uh-huh. Yeah.
it's kind of true.
Obviously it's true. Yeah.
I was listening to
Yeah.
that podcast when they said it too, and I just started laughing. Uh,
Uh-huh.
and then I loved all the tweets where one of my favorites is like really bad. It It was Aaron Hernandez getting the script for 2000. Or it's like RG3, me getting the script for 2000, whatever that was, or
Yeah.
Matt Ryan getting the
Oh,
script to the Super Bowl.
the 20. Yeah. Oh,
There
that's
was like a
brutal.
meme of Tom Brady. He's like smiling. It's like him watching Russell Wilson walk in, getting the script of the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man.
A
Yeah.
good one.
I don't.
Sorry, I
I,
saw a lot. But Dan
yeah.
Rafalski's, it was like, it was scripted, him running on the back of the end
You're right
zone.
out of bounds. Yeah. I don't like getting. I don't believe a lot of that whole rig stuff. The only thing I could see that might make sense is at the end of games, refs may call things a certain
Yeah,
way. Like a lot of those things were I thought were kind of blatant the other night
yeah.
with that Chiefs Bengals game that we already mentioned. But I don't know. We're gonna give our predictions for
There
Eagles
is a
Chiefs next
conspiracy,
week.
though. You know what the name of the stadium is in Arizona?
Uh, no, I don't.
State Farm or Stadium or whatever arena.
Holmes and State Farm. Yeah.
The Andy
Well,
Reid
also,
is pretty funny though.
I mean, Andy Reid versus the Eagles, Kelsey Bowl, like they're everything kind of pointed to this,
Yeah.
like being really good for the, bringing in revenue and stuff. I don't know. It just, but with that being said, Bengals had their chances for sure to win. They had the ball. What was it, 2020 or,
Yeah, I was
um,
tied.
and then yeah, they threw
Had a
the
punt.
interception, but it was like it was the same as a punt. It was like a third down and third and
Yeah.
11 or
No, it
whatever
was the
he threw.
punt because they punted back to him and then they returned it. And that's when the Chiefs got to the field goal.
Oh, that was that. I was thinking, I guess a couple
That
drives
up,
earlier.
yeah.
Remember? Yeah,
I know you're talking.
he threw it deep and got tipped and picked off. But
I
yeah,
will say T.
we'll give our
Higgins is my MVP of the game.
always he's your MVP of every game.
Yes.
But we'll give our Eagles Chiefs predictions next week, and break that whole thing down disgustingly. But I feel it's only right that we get it started here with our top 10 starting pitchers, top 10 relief pitchers for 2023. We're going to be doing two positions every single week. Do you want to start with relief pitchers or starting pitchers?
Let's do relief pitchers because I know
Less
way
hype.
less about any of these guys because they're just
Okay.
random
Yeah,
guys who have good years.
for sure.
Let me count mine out.
So I again have one very controversial one at the top. Um, but again, this is not just
Let me
based off
guess.
2022. What's up?
I bet I know who it is.
Well, it's not somebody new. It's somebody that is lower than what a lot of people would have him as.
Okay.
Which I think might some people would be like, what? But yeah, so again, this is based on what we think 2023 is going to be like, just for anybody that gets triggered about it. But do you want to get us going?
Yeah, sure. I have an honorable mention. A
Okay.
lot of these guys, I'll be honest, some of these guys I really didn't know until I kind of started looking up relief pitchers.
Yeah, I mean,
And this
obviously.
was one of them, and it's Jason Adam of Tampa Bay. He's my honorable mention.
Hmm.
He had a good year last year. He had like a, 1.56 ERA. Um, Pretty good, but I think these other guys are gonna have better years. He's also a little older at 30, but and that was by
The
far his
Ray
year.
the Rays have a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
Jason Adam. There's another guy. Oh, I forgot his name. I didn't put him on my list, but a lot of people did have him on his list. Um, I don't remember his name. I can find it real quick. But they have a lot of those guys because they do a lot of bullpen games.
Hmm.
But yeah, continue.
All right. So my number 10 is he was a rookie last year. Felix Bautista. Batista?
Right on.
Batista? Yeah, from the
Love him.
Orioles. Uh yeah, he was pretty good last year. 2.19 ERA, 15 saves, 12 strikeout per nine. Just a beast. What was his WAR? 2.6 WAR. Not bad.
Not
Uh
bad.
that was his rookie year, so I'm hoping he's like stays at that level for next year, which will help out the Orioles.
Hmm. Yeah. I found that name. Pete Fairbanks was the
Hmm.
reliever for the Rays that I didn't put on my list, but a lot of people had him on there. So my number 10 is the closer for the Toronto Blue Jays, Jordan Romano. 63 games last year. He's had a couple really good years in a row. 2.11 ERA, 64 innings, 73 Ks, 36 saves. WHIP was over 1. That's a big thing for me that I look at with these guys. Who has a really low WHIP? Walks and hits per innings pitched.
Wait, his whip
But
was
he's
over 1.
was over 1.
Walks a lot
Yeah.
of people.
Walks a lot of people. And he was started off so hot last year. I actually had him on fantasy, and then I saw he had a rough patch. That's why I was shocked he had still a 2.11 ERA last year. I thought that would
Mhm.
have been higher, but he did walk a lot of people. Um, so yeah, for anybody out there, anything over 1 is kind of getting iffy. Anything under 1 is that's kind of like a baseline is like the
I
1
think
that
under
would have.
one's really, really good.
Yeah, under 1's like almost elite for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, Jordan Romano's my number 10. Yeah.
I guess my next guy is also another rookie. I found him looking at other lists, and that is Johan Duran. 1.86 ERA. His whip was under 1, so yeah, better than your guy. Uh, but I really didn't. I'm not a huge. I don't follow the Twins that much. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
but he's 24, gonna be 25, and
Mhm.
like I guess his birth. Right? No, he just turned 24. No, he's 25 now. Sorry, he's 25 now.
Mhm.
But he's gonna be a huge piece for the Twins. Hopefully, trying to get back into the playoffs. But pretty good. 11.8 strikeouts per 9 innings. He had a couple saves. So I don't know if he's going to be their full-time closer or just be
Mhm.
one of like the setup guys.
Yeah. So Duran was my number 9 as well, actually. So
Nice.
we're right on there. So yeah, he just had. I guess he was a rookie last year. Was his first full year at least. But 1.86 ERA. If for people that don't know much about him, dude throws gas. Like he's the over 100 consistently heavy sinker. But yeah, his whip was under 1. Only 8 saves, and that's because I forgot the guy's name. I think it's Lopez. Maybe it's not Pablo Lopez. There's the guy that was traded from Baltimore midway through the year
Oh,
to
I know who you're
Minnesota.
talking about.
But he took the closer spot, and so Duran was kind of like a setup guy the rest of the year. But I think he's going to be their number 1 guy in the back end this year. But yeah, electric stuff.
My number 8 is Andres Munoz. I guess that's another. I guess
Yes.
was he a rookie? Not really.
Yeah.
Uh,
His first full year, yeah.
yeah, 23, 2.49 ERA, 65 innings pitched, 96 strikeouts at 13.3 strikeouts per 9, 0.892 whip. Pretty much as reliable as you could get. His ERA is a little higher than the other guys, but all his other stats prove that he's low key better. Like you just have one bad game as a relief pitcher and your ERA
Mhm.
spikes. But I think he's gonna be really good. Isn't the Mariners closer Diego Castillo? No,
It's Seawold.
Seawald. Yeah, and they also have Diego
Mhm.
Castillo too, right? He's pretty good.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
think Munoz is probably gonna stay as a setup man, put him in high leverage situations, and he did pretty good last year. So I think he'd be pretty good this year too.
Yeah, your 10, 9, and 8 are all like very similar pitchers.
Really?
Really hard throwing guys that are young and have great future. My number 8 was Ryan Presley, closer for the Houston Astros. He's been very consistent the past, I think it was like 7 years,
Mhm.
with like a sub 4 ERA or sub 3 ERA in like every year. Last year, only 50 games pitched, 2.98 ERA, 48 innings, 65 Ks, had 33 saves though, and a .89 WHIP. A lot of people don't, I feel like, talk about him. He is 34, but
Yeah.
he's been a lockdown guy for the Astros during their dominance, and he slides in at my number 8 spot.
So my number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Um, guy who I put in there because he deserves it, but depending on his situation, I don't know. Like if this, and that's Liam Hendricks because he got diagnosed with cancer,
Mhm. Mhm.
but he is by far one of the top relievers. Last 2 years, last really 3 years if you count the COVID year, been elite. Over 35 plus saves in the last 2 years, all stars. He was in Cy Young voting, hit a 2.81 ERA, 13.3 strikeouts per 9. His whip was like 1, but he's just an animal. Like when he pitches, he's heated. He's kind of like Max Scherzer, but
Yes,
closer. I just think when you give him the ball at the end of the game, you're feeling pretty good.
definitely. Yeah, he's higher on my list. I'll just give a
Okay, good.
little teaser. He's definitely up there. My number 7 was Felix Bautista, and you mentioned a little bit about him, and I mentioned the closer going from the Orioles to the Twins, Lopez, I think his name was.
Hmm.
That's another reason why Bautista didn't have as many saves. He only had 15
Yeah, because
saves,
he
but
became the closer after he left, I think.
he did, yeah. He had a .93 whip, which is pretty impressive for a guy that throws really hard sinkers
Hmm.
that kind of is Jordan Hicks like, and they kind of go all over the place. But he had 2.19 ERA, 65 innings, 88 Ks, big strikeout guy, ground ball guy with that sinker still. But um, he's a big guy. I think he's like
Hmm.
6'7", 280 or something like that. And I actually got to see him in person. I sat in the first row behind our dugout at Busch Stadium, and I saw him come in the ninth inning and strike out O'Neill and Arenado, I think it was. And
Classic.
there's something, yeah, there's something different about his ball that I saw
Yeah.
that was just explodes on you. Um, so yeah, he's the guy that like
I'm
all
sorry.
the yeah, pause.
Talking about balls exploding, just and you're like explodes on me, and I had to think back to Brevin Galloway.
But
All right, continue.
he has electric stuff, and he's one of those guys that like all the sabermetrics that all those nerdy guys, which I'm not making fun of them because I love those guys that
You
like the
calling me a
metrics.
nerd?
Yeah, I am too. I am too. But he's one of those guys that fits really well with all the metrics because all his spin rate and everything looks really nice. But yeah, he's my number 7.
My number 6 is Ryan Presley, who you talked about.
Mhm.
33 years old. Last year he was under 3 RA, 33 saves, .89 WHIP, 12 strikeouts per nine. Another guy like Hendricks, where like you give him the ball in the ninth inning and you're feeling pretty comfortable. Also has that postseason experience too. I don't know what his postseason stats are like, but I'm assuming they're like decent. But yeah, wait, let me check. Let me check. Oh yeah, he's had very good postseason statistics. His career is a 2.56 ERA. Yeah. So, and then last year actually yeah, didn't even in his like 10 games pitched, he didn't give up anything. So, yeah, pretty reliable.
Yes, he's been very reliable for them. My number 6 is a guy that dropped off last year, but has been an elite pitcher for years. My number 6 is Josh Hader of now the San Diego Padres. Had a 5.22 ERA last year and really collapsed after that move to San Diego. He pitched a little better when they got into the postseason and at the end there. Obvious resume to him is very successful. 81 strikeouts and 50 innings the last year, but his whip, I keep bringing up the whip. His whip was the highest of any of the guys on my list, a 1.28 whip. He was kind of just erratic all year to finish up there.
Yeah.
Um, but him and Devin Williams were extremely electric, and we all know like how that was kind of a weird way he got traded, and
Yeah.
Devin Williams kind
Very
of decreased in value for a while. So that was a whole weird thing. But I think Hader will probably bounce back. I would be shocked if he didn't. Um, but I had to put him at least in the middle of the pack. A lot of people don't even have him on the list. On
Yeah,
their
it's not
list.
mine. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you for that. I had to give him some credit where it's due. But again, this is a look to 2023, so he could be maybe he's on the downturn here.
My number 5 is the guy we kind of talked about before, and that's Evan Phillips, who I never heard of before, but had a 1.14 ERA and 63 innings pitched. I feel like that's pretty good. His whip
Unreal.
was .762. Yeah, he only walked 15 batters. He struck out 77. He only gave up 8 earned runs the whole year. That's kind of crazy when you put it into that way. Because relievers, they don't pitch as many innings, so like their earned runs could literally be like none, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see how he does this next year. See if he can continue to build on this, or if he's just going to go back to kind of what he was before. But it always seems like pitchers when they go to the Dodgers just somehow become amazing. So I think he's gonna have I don't think he's gonna have this good of a year, but I think he's gonna have a solid year.
Yeah. Also, he's not a closer, which a lot of these guys
So
are high
yeah,
leverage closers. He's more of a a middle reliever even.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of interesting. My number 5 was Liam Hendricks. You already talked about him a little bit. Hopefully, I don't know where his stat. We talked about his cancer diagnosis a couple episodes back. Hopefully, he can make it back on the field later in the year, if not next year. He might be out all year. I don't know, but
Yeah.
had to put him on the list. He's been an elite closer, a top 3 closer in baseball for probably 5 years now at least. 37 saves last year, 85 Ks and 57 innings, which is amazing. So yeah, he's my number 5.
My number 4, getting to the St. Louis boy, Brian Helsley.
Let's
Uh,
go.
1.25 ERA, 64 innings pitched, 19 saves, 94 strikeouts, 20 walks. Guess what his whip is? 0.742. I think that's the best we've said so far. 13 strikeouts per 9. He had a crazy breakout year last year, so I hope he continues to build off that because his years previous to that weren't amazing. Um, yeah, I think one big key is, well, I guess he did. Never mind. I was gonna say every time I thought he came in, he gave up a home run, but he actually gave up his most home runs in a season this year, so I guess that's not true. But I'm excited to watch him pitch, and hopefully he continues to grow and be better. But if only he didn't jam his finger, we'd be World Series champions. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, we don't agree much on here, but we're right on Pat. Ryan Helsley is my number 4 as well. 1.25 ERA last year, 94 Ks and 64 innings, only 19 saves because Gallego started the year as the closer, and
Yeah.
we also which I don't mind it. I'm a very much a guy that likes to have one guy in the closer spot, but I mean, it's been shown in the past that you can be successful with kind of popping guys based on matchups. But yeah, 0.74 whip, like you mentioned, and I've been wanting him to be the closer for a couple of years. He dealt with injury, also was inconsistent. I hope this wasn't just like a 1-year wonder type of
Yeah.
thing. He's so electric that I hope he continues it going into 2023.
My number 3 is NL Central rival Devin Williams. Just kind of a freak. If you play MLB The Show, he has some crazy fun pitches. Uh,
Also from St. Louis.
is he actually?
Yeah.
Did not know that. That's cool. Uh, but yeah, he's had a pretty good young career so far. 1.93 ERA, 16 innings pitched, 15 saves. He's gonna be their closer next year. 14.2 strikeouts per 9 innings. That's not too shabby. His whip's at 1. He walks quite a bit of guys. He had 30 walks. But yeah, I put him ahead of Helsley just because he's had a bigger body of work of pitching good, but I could see Helsley pass him up this year. If Helsley does another good year, he's over top of him, in my opinion.
Yeah. Devin Williams is nasty for sure. So
Yeah.
my number 3 is, and this is where it's a little controversial for me. I have Edwin Diaz at number 3. And so Edwin obviously was the number 1 pitcher in baseball out of the bullpen last year. 118 strikeouts in 62 innings is one of the craziest differences in that I've seen. 61 games, 1.31 ERA, had the whole walkout. It was electric all year. He was the guy. I found something really interesting about him though. If you
Hmm.
look back to his last 6 years, it was like a 5 ERA
Oh,
and
is
a
it
2
every other
ERA
year? Yeah, I'm just seeing
every
it.
other year. It's so weird. And last year his whip was really low, but in Seattle, he had whip problems with walking guys all the time. His stuff moves like crazy. I think he's going to be electric this year, but I think we might see closer to a 3 ERA, not that 1.31. History
That's
shows that he goes off and on. Isn't that weird? It was like every
yeah,
other
it's
year.
weird. Uh,
Yeah, he's my number 3.
yeah, my number 2 is probably the guy who I like the most is Manuel Clase. He just seems kind of under the radar. Led the league in saves, games finished. He's not he strikes guys out, but he's not as big of a strikeout guy. He had 77 strikeouts and 72 innings pitched, so he had nine strikeouts per 9 innings. Just a stud. Whip was .729, so the lowest. Only walked 10 guys in 72 innings. Only gave up 3 home runs. Only gave up 11 earned runs. It's just crazy. Just a beast, and he's only 24, or Yeah, he's still 24. His birthday's in March, so stud.
Wow. Did you say 10 walks in those 72 innings?
Yeah, 10 walks.
That's unbelievable. I didn't see that. My number two was Devin Williams, now closer of the Milwaukee Brewers. You talked quite a bit about him. His whip was a little over one, and that's just because he had a really bad stretch after Hader left. I think kind of
Mhm.
the morality of the team, we talked about it already. The morality of the team was kind of in the dumps after that whole thing. That was a really weird situation. But I think he's going to start the year as a guy in fantasy for fantasy users that you want to pick up. This dude is electric. And I also think he's got arguably, I don't want to give this to him, but I think he's got arguably a top 3 pitch in baseball. His changeup is something that is just filthy. If you see some like spin rates and movement on that stuff, it's ridiculous. But he is my number two, and I think we know who your number one is.
My number one is Josh Hader. No, it's Edwin Diaz. I I gave him the edge over Clase just because of how good his year was last year. He had a better ERA. The only thing he really had less was games finished in saves. Like the crazy stat is his strikeouts per 9 innings was 17 because he had so. It's crazy, ridiculous. He was ninth in the Cy Young, 16th in the MVP. Ridiculous. Hopefully he can uh, break his curse of not pitching good every other year. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I kind of hope he does because the Mets are in the National League. So I do hope he don't pitch as good. But he's just electric. His whip was .839. So Clase had the lowest whip, I think, out of everyone we said. But
He did.
yeah, he's a stud.
Yeah. So Clase is my number one, and I'm still stuck on the. You said Clase with 10 walks and 72 innings because for people that haven't seen Clase, and some probably haven't seen him as much as you should because he's in Cleveland for the Guardians, and they're not
Mhm.
really televised a whole lot. But Clase is like for St. Louis fans is a much better Jordan Hicks. I mentioned Hicks earlier with some of
Yeah,
this guys' stuff. The thing that surprised me is Clase throws consistently over 100 miles per hour. He had 77 Ks in 72 innings. It's not like he blows people away. And that's what reminds me of Jordan
that's
Hicks
like
is
Hicks. Yeah,
Jordan, yeah, where Jordan looks, if you look at the velocity, it looks like he should be blowing it by stuff, by people. But Clase gets a lot of ground balls, 42 saves, 1.36 ERA. You mentioned he's only 24.
yeah.
He's
Throws
gonna
that
be up in
cutter.
that. Yeah. He's gonna be in that top five for quite a while now. So I had Clase one, you had
Diaz.
Edwin Diaz number one. So now we can move on to starting pitchers where this is when it gets really fun. You got any honorable mentions or are you going straight into the top 10?
I have a couple honorable mentions that could be controversial already.
We could say 20 honorable mentions probably.
I have Shan McClanahan as honorable mention.
Okay.
And this is probably the big one, Garrett Cole. I moved him out right before we started.
Okay.
Do you have any?
Garrett Cole. I don't have Garrett Cole on my
Nice.
list.
All
And
right.
for
So my
again,
number 10.
I,
No,
I
go.
want to say you don't know my list. I don't know your list. That makes this even more fun.
Well, I have reasons for why he's not on my list. He was ninth in Cy Young, but over the last 1, 2, 3, 4 years, his ERA's gone up every single year. In 2019 it was 250. 2020, I guess it was COVID, but it was 2.84. 2021, 3.23. Then last year, 3.5. He did lead the league in strikeouts, but he also led the league in giving up home runs. So I don't know if what his trend's gonna see. So I'm interested to see how he plays this year.
It's a high
Um,
whip too. What wasn't it?
his whip's like 1.017.
Oh, okay. I thought it was higher. Okay.
He doesn't walk too many guys. Yeah. It's hard with starting pitchers because they pitch so many more innings.
Yeah, very
So
true.
my number 10 was a guy who I didn't realize he had such a good year last year, and that's Max Fried. Uh, 2.48 ERA, second in Cy Young, won a Gold Glove. He's
Mm-hmm.
won a Gold Glove the last 3 years. His whip's at like 1, which I think is really good for a starting pitcher. Struck out like 8 per 9 innings. Like super dependable, solid. Not like a strike you out guy, but can get you out, get ground balls, just gets the job done. I just feel like he's been really crucial to Atlanta, and he's also been pretty solid in the playoffs too. I
Yes.
believe. Yeah, or not this past year. He was really bad this past year. So I remember he blew up that game, but
Mhm.
actually he's been kind of crappy in the playoffs, so never mind. But in the postseason, you've been pretty. I mean, the regular season, you've been okay.
So my number 10 is a guy that you and I both love, and we wish he was probably here in St. Louis, and that is Shane Bieber of the Cleveland Guardians is coming in at my 10 spot. 2.88 ERA, 13.8 last year, 200 innings pitched, which is a big stat for a pitcher. I feel like it. They always want to go deep, and in today's era, you don't see guys go deep into games as much. So 198 strikeouts, so much a strikeout per inning, and 31 games started. So he was durable last year, and I think he's only 27,
Yeah,
26, something like
27.
that. So yeah, he's going to be a guy that has a really bright future coming up here too.
Yeah, my number 9, Shane Bieber. A big reason, under 3 ERA, pitched 200 innings, seventh in Cy Young, and sorry, Kaylee just let out a big old sneeze. Um, but I think one thing is he had that shoulder injury, and he's kind of reinvented himself. He doesn't throw as hard now, and he's still getting guys out. So I think uh, he's gonna be really good for many years because I think if you can pitch really good without throwing at high velocity, that means you're locating really good and have good fastballs and off speed to play off of that, which he obviously does. But just not being in like throwing the same stuff all the time, like keeping them guessing. So I think he's gonna be a
Yeah.
stud. And if the Cardinals would trade for him, I wouldn't be sad.
No, definitely not. My 9, 8, and 7, I'm rearranging on the spot here. This is breaking news. So my number 9 is going to be Zach Wheeler for the Philadelphia
Yeah,
Phillies.
I left him out.
It's tough. Yeah, he's so good, and we saw it firsthand how
Hmm.
dominant he was. In the regular season, he had a huge performance against us in Philly, and then he had obviously in the postseason pitched really well against us and pitched really well against the Padres as well. 2.82 ERA, 12-7 last year, only 153 innings pitched. He missed 5 or 6 starts there in the middle of the year, and then had 163 Ks, which I thought he would even have more strikeouts than that. But he's going to come in at my number 9 spot. I'm looking at these other two guys I'm going to have at 8 and 7. I'm putting them just slightly above here on the spot.
So my next two guys to me are kind of identical in where they're at in their career and how they pitched. And so my number 8 is gonna be Dylan Cease, which I think a lot of people will have him higher.
I
But
do.
uh, he was second in Cy Young, had a 2.2 ERA, um, bunch of strikeouts, 11 per 9 innings. He also led the league in walks. His WHIP was 1.1.
Mhm.
Super solid. I'm excited to see if he can continue this because his previous years he was in under 3, so that's why I kind of put him behind this next guy. But he's 26, so he's young, so he's going to be good in the future, hopefully.
I'm a huge Dylan Cease fan. Huge. My number 8 is going to be the best player in baseball. He's on my list. Shohei Ohtani is coming in at the number 8 spot. And dude, I mean, I'm looking at the numbers, and I know we brag about him all the time, but 28 games started last year. It was his first full year of pitching. And I know the win and loss record is not a huge pitcher stat anymore, but he was 15-9 for an Angels team that was not good. 2.33 ERA, 219 strikeouts, and 166 innings. One players in baseball that is must watch every night for
I
me.
think in all the sports,
Yes.
I know people who don't watch baseball are probably, oh, how could you watch him over Mahomes or Giannis?
Yeah.
But he literally
Yeah.
will go and pitch 7 innings, 1 hit, and
Yeah.
then go and hit a home run. And not to mention he's top 5 in fastest sprint speed.
Mhm.
It's
So
crazy.
fun, dude. I put him in the Connor McDavid situation in the
Yeah.
conversation where you have to watch them if you can. So yeah, he's my number 8, and I absolutely love him.
My number 7 is Alek Manoah. Uh,
Oh, I like the Manoa love. Okay.
yeah, 2.24 ERA. Uh, he was a beast. Through 196 innings, he did lead the league in hit by pitch, which he also led the league the year before, which is kind of funny. He improved from his rookie year. I'm about to sneeze, maybe. Okay, power through. His whip was under one, which I think is pretty solid for a starting pitcher at .992. His strikeouts per nine innings is not as much as I thought. It was 8.2, but he just is so dominant and so fierce and competitive. Loves to trash talk. Um,
Mhm.
I've always kind of liked him. And he's super young. He's 24 and he had a really good year his rookie year, and then he had a better year this year. So I'm excited to see if he'll have either the same or even get it even better.
Yeah.
And also, it's weird to see was Cy Young 3. Dylan Cease was second in Cy Young voting, but then Manoah was voted 17th in MVP voting, but Cease was 22. So it made no sense to me why
Interesting.
it was like that, but I don't know. I
Yeah,
like
that is
Alec Manoah.
interesting. Manoa also is not the normal pitcher bod. He's like 290 pounds.
He's
That's a
large.
large guy. He's very large. Um, my number seven is a pitcher for the Dodgers that is becoming. Dodgers always have an elite rotation. He might be their number one now. And he's kind of under the radar for me the last couple of years. Julio Urias is number seven on my list. And some people are like, why not Walker Bueller? He's going to still miss a lot of this year. Walker is
Mhm.
due to, I think it's Tommy John that he's dealing with.
He's
I think
been
that's what it
gone
is.
forever.
Yeah. So Urias is my number seven, and he had the most wins in baseball the year before last. I think he had like 22 wins or something like that. The last year was 17-7 with a 2.16 ERA, and I think a lot of hype goes to Kershaw because he gets the big games, and Bueller and Urias kind of slides in there, and then they have like Gonsolin and Dustin May, and they
Hmm.
have so many electric guys, and Evan
They got
Phillips out of
Shelby
the
Miller
bullpen,
now.
and Shelby Miller, yeah. So, and now they have Syndergaard too. I know Syndergaard's not the
Uh,
same, but he's over there too. But Urias is so good, and I had to put him over Wheeler and Otani. He's my number seven.
my number 5 or 6, probably one of my favorite pitchers of all time, Max Scherzer.
Let's go.
He's 37. He's getting up there in age, but he still was dominant when he was on the field. 2.29 ERA, WHIP on .9, struck out 10 per 9 innings, and like he was hurt last year, but the year before he was top 3 in Cy Young voting. The year before that was COVID, and the year before that he was top 5 in Cy Young voting for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years in a row. Future Hall of Famer. I think he's still going to be dominant. I think he could pitch till he's like 50 and still be dominant.
Mhm.
Mad Max kind of gives you Nolan Ryan vibes a little bit, where you can
Mhm.
just dominate. Um, I've always loved him pitching. I wish the Cardinals would have signed him last year, but that's fine.
Yeah. Zach, I'm loving you this episode. I have Max Scherzer at number six as well.
Nice.
And I think you can make a case he's even top three.
Hmm.
Again, this is looking at 2023, though. He's going into his age 39 season, I believe it is. Yeah, obviously last year didn't pitch as many games. He missed some time due to injury, but still was electric. 2.29 ERA in those games, 173 Ks and 145 innings pitched. I expect that old man rotation of Scherzer and Verlander in New York to probably be successful, but again, they're old, so we'll see what
Hmm.
happens. But yes, sure, I agree. Scherzer is my number six as well.
My number 5 is Shohei Ohtani. Uh,
Let's go.
2.33 ERA, 166 innings pitched. He led the league in strikeouts per 9 inning for qualified pitchers.
Wow.
He's also a qualified batter, which is
Yeah.
crazy. His whip was like 1. That's fine, but just electric. And yeah, I don't know what to say. Like we've gushed over Otani enough, but he's just incredible. He was
Yeah.
fourth in Cy Young voting and also second MVP.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm so glad you had him on your list. I was thinking, he's Zach probably left him off just barely, but you had him. That's awesome.
I At first
My
I was
number.
like, I'm not gonna put him on, and then I was looking at the stats. I'm like, you can't put him. I didn't realize he was fourth
Yeah.
in Cy Young.
He's just got to. If we're gonna see this dominance, I just want him to stay healthy, which is gonna be so hard
Hmm.
because he's you're asking a lot for a guy from a guy, but that nobody's been asked to do before in the history of baseball.
Hmm.
My number five, and you had him lower on your list, and I'm gushing over him right now. Dylan Cease. I know he walks a lot of guys, but man, he strikes out the world. 2.20 ERA. He's still so young, 14-8 last year. These last 2 years have been really, really good. Last year was dominant. His second half was ridiculous. Had a sub 2 ERA in the second half of the year. I think he's spoiler whenever we get to that time. He is going to be my AL Cy Young pick this year. I'm huge on this guy, huge on him. I just want the walks to go down a little bit, but yeah, Cease is my number 5.
My number 4. I think we're at the top, same top 4. The way it's looking.
Should be. Should be.
My number 4 is Justin Verlander, the Cy Young winner. Wow. Now that I'm looking at his stats, wow, led the league in wins, win-loss percentage, ERA at 1.785, through 175 innings pitched, which is actually very funny. It matches up perfectly. He had ERA plus, led the league in that. Don't really know what that stat is. Had the lowest WHIP, 0.829. Okay, what's this other stat over here? Hits per 9. Wait, I don't think that's a good stat. No, I don't really know what that means. Some of these stats I know just don't know, but
yeah,
he's so good. He's won 2 Cy Youngs in the last 3 years at 36 or 4 years at 36 and 39, which is, and this is a year coming off of an injury, so it's crazy.
Yeah,
for sure, Hall of Famer, a stud.
We're on the right track, Zach. We're right with it together. Verlander is my number 4. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, he's getting old with that injury." That injury was Tommy John. So we all know that Tommy John guys come back stronger usually. But I
Brock
mean,
Purdy's gonna have
I
a
thought,
stronger arm.
yeah. But no, Verlander 18-4, 1.75 ERA. Cy Young last year didn't pitch great against um the Mariners, especially in that round is what I'm thinking of off the top of my head. But yeah, interesting with the age. I know the age thing. He's going to be 41, I believe. So it's definitely getting up there in age. But yeah, Verlander has been so good for so many years. Hall of Famer, like you said. He's my number 4. And now this top 3 is going to be interesting. I think we're going to have the same 3, but which order are we going to put them here?
Number 3, Adam Wayne right now. Jacob deGrom is my number 3. He hasn't pitched more than 15 games in the last 3 years. When he's on the field, he's good, but you have to actually pitch to be good or make an impact. So that's why I don't have him 2 and 1. But when he's on the field, he's so good. He had 14 strikeouts per 9 innings in the 11 games he pitched last year, 3.08 ERA, which is the highest of his second highest in his career. He only picked 64 innings. He hasn't pitched over 100 innings in the last 3 years. So I guess the COVID year, I forgot about that one. That kind of doesn't count. But still, the last 2 years, you gotta stay healthy, buddy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we could all agree if he pitches 28 starts, he's the best pitcher in baseball. You can make a case he's the best player besides Ohtani in baseball.
Yeah.
My number 3 is going to be your guy, Sandy Alcantara. Is going to be at my number 3 spot. And, I thought it was really just a breakout year last year, which it kind of was, but he pitched really well the couple years before that, even in the threes, I believe, in ERA. Last year was his really coming out party, though. 228 innings pitched. I don't see it here, but it had to have led baseball in innings pitched. That's pretty high.
Yeah, he led him.
Over 200 strikeouts as well. He gets a lot of ground balls, doesn't walk a whole lot of guys. Was 14-9 on a bad Marlins team and had a 2.28 ERA. So obviously all St. Louisans know that's the guy we that got away for sure. But I think obviously coming off of Cy Young, he could be number 1. I'm gonna give the nod to 2 more guys ahead of him, but Sandy's on his way to the top.
My number 2 is Corbin Burns, the Milwaukee Brewer. 2.94 ERA, his highest of his career for full seasons. He led the league in strikeouts, 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. He pitched 200 innings, so he's super durable. Led the league in game starts. I think he may have been tied. No, well, that actually makes Sandy actually crazy. He had Corbin's pitched one more game than Sandy Alcantara and had 20 less innings pitched. Ridiculous. But Corbin Burns is just so good, and Cardinal fans know it. He dominates us every time we face him. We just can't beat him really, but
Mhm.
he's been good for many years in a row now, and
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't stay good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the one thing Milwaukee has going for them because their lineup is trash. Is they have really good pitching. My number two is Jacob DeGrom, and just stay healthy, please. Please stay healthy because he is so good. He is so good and so fun to watch. He's in his home state now in Texas, no
Hmm.
longer a Met. Want to see how that plays out, but he should be good for opening day, and hopefully he can stay healthy all year. It's so hard with him because he had 100 strikeouts in 64 innings last year. Only 11 games started, um, and I wanted to know if they watch innings with him this year. I hate when people have innings limits. Hopefully, they can be successful, and maybe
Yeah.
we could see him on the bigger stage. But Degrom is my number two, and I know who your number one is because that's your
Number one,
guy.
Sandy Alcantara, one of my favorite pitchers because his ERA is super low, 2.28, and then he's just a workhorse. Dominates. He had 6 complete games, which led the league. Which you don't see that as much. 6 is a lot now in this day of age. 228 innings pitched. Faced the most batters. Obviously, won the Cy Young. His WHIP was under 1. Just ridiculous. One of my favorite pitchers. He had over 200 strikeouts too. Just a beast, and I hope he keeps pitching good.
Yeah, man.
And hopefully
I
Miami stays bad, and then maybe we'll trade him for back for him.
I hope it's sustainable because you don't see guys like that go deep like that anymore. So I hope it's sustainable for him. And my number one, as much as I don't like saying this as a Cardinals fan, is Corbin Burns. We see it firsthand, like you mentioned. It's pretty electric stuff he's got going on. I
Mhm.
saw him in person also. Um, I was sitting in the second row that night actually, and I got to see him up close, and his stuff is really good. 243 strikeouts in 202 innings. Is that the most strikeouts in baseball?
Yeah.
Was it really? I man,
Mhm.
that kind of went under the radar for me. I thought Cease had more, but yeah, that's a
Well, he may
pretty
have
big
had more
number
in
for
the
Burns.
American League.
That's true. Maybe that's what I saw. But 33 games started. I think he had like 32 games started the year before, 12-8, which is his win loss does not show ever how good he is,
Hmm. Yeah.
because they don't win until late game situations because they can't score. But
Yeah.
2.94 ERA. Obviously, he already has a Cy Young under his belt. And again, I like you. I hope he doesn't do this well this year, but he is my number one based off these last 2 years. And that is our starting pitchers and relief pitchers. We'll have probably catchers and first base next, I
Yeah.
guess. Catchers is going to absolutely suck, like it did last year. It might even be worse than last year
Yeah.
because I think we tried to slide Yachty in there.
Yeah, we did. Conlon had him at like 5.
Yeah, that's so wild. But yeah, man. Any final thoughts on our pitchers here?
I thought we did pretty good.
We agreed a lot.
Yeah, we did. I think we
Is, is
had.
there any is there anybody that like I had that you were like I don't know about that,
Did you have Alec
or any?
Manoah in yours? No.
I did not have Manoa.
I
I was
like
shocked
close.
that you
All the guys were
didn't.
so close.
Yeah, for sure. I was shocked that you didn't have Urias on your list. That's
Yeah,
one
I
guy I
don't
was
like
kind of shocked
Dodgers.
about. Yeah. And reliever wise, I guess I'm kind of shocked that you didn't have Hater, but I understand that after what he did last year. But yeah, man, that's a fun list right there. I'm so happy you did have Otani top five though. That's the one I was really really excited about. But yeah, so that's gonna wrap up this episode. We know baseball is gonna take up a lot of these episodes, so we're gonna
Yeah.
really focus on that coming up in these next few weeks. Get all these rankings out, and of course, go follow on Instagram, TikTok. We're getting closer and closer to 800 on Instagram, so I think we're like 23 away even. So if you're
Nice.
listening, have not followed on
I guess I'll
all of
follow
our
us then.
platforms, so make sure to go follow Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. We're active on all platforms, so go check it out. Subscribe on YouTube, rate, review, subscribe on everything. I sound like a vlogger.
Yeah.
But everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you guys this upcoming Monday.
See you guys.